Countries around the world are building new cities of the future. To accommodate our growing population, these cities have new design concepts and incorporate amazing new technological innovations. So join me for today's video, as we take a trip around the world to explore amazing future cities currently under construction. The floating city. While the UN is an organization that is often accused of doing absolutely nothing, they are backing what will soon be a super high-tech floating city, set to be located just off the coast of Bhusan, South Korea. The city's plans have been fully drafted, and construction is set to start in the next few months, and it seems that the project will be pretty incredible. It's set to house a total of 12,000 people. It's being built as part of the United Nations Human Settlements Program, with the goal of the initiative being to test a new model of real estate development. Led by a sustainable design, a startup known as Oceanic. The city is being designed to withstand 100-year storms, and have a foundation that rises as sea levels do, allowing it to essentially last forever, whether or not sea levels rise to crazy high levels. The city will consist of 3 different platforms, with the first being designed to hold housing, the second for public spaces like schools and theaters, and the third for research and development, with each platform is connected to the others and to land via bridges, while being anchored to the ocean floor with removable pile moorings. In order to make these moorings as strong as possible, they'll be coated in a buoyant limestone material known as bile rock, and in order to lessen the load on the platforms, all the buildings will have a cap of 5 stories, and be made of lightweight sustainable materials, such as timber and bamboo. In order to get around, residents will ditch cars and trains, and get around via bike or on foot, and in order to be as self-sustaining as possible, the city will feature gardens, solar panels, freshwater filters, and fishing cages to catch scallops or kelp. Both the UN and Oceanic then hope that this model can be applied to other low-lying areas, to protect against rising sea levels. Given its budget of $627 million, it seems like they have a lot of hope in the project. However, even in the best-case scenario, the entire project will not be completed before 2025, meaning it will be a while before this futuristic model is realized. Maldives floating city. Maldives is located in the middle of the Indian Ocean, the small set of islands. In recent months, it's got quite a bit of attention, due to its planned floating city. Aptly named the Maldives Floating City, it's built in partnership between the Maldives government and the developers Dutch Dockland, and by all accounts the city is both very unique and very necessary. You see, the idea is to create 5,000 floating houses, anchored to the bottom of a 200-hectare lagoon, with these being interconnected via a series of canals, in order to protect these homes from the ocean's waves, and enhance the area's ecosystem. The idea is to attach artificial coral banks to the undersides of the city to stimulate coral growth, and in order to make it as eco-friendly as possible. There will be a 15-minute-long ferry service between the city and both the capital city and the main airport, so that residents can get to and from their homes easily, and travel around the city exclusively via foot, bike, boat, or electric scooter. On one hand, this project is rather upscale, and it's believed that these homes will go for between $150,000 and $200,000, making them rather expensive by local standards. However, it's also very necessary, as most of these islands that make up the Maldives are less than a meter from the sea level. This is a problem, since it's believed that most of the Maldives will be completely underwater by the year 2100, and as a result of this, pilot program may need to be implemented on a massive scale in order to save the Maldives from total destruction. However, this city in particular is currently in its initial construction phases, and will likely be completed by the year 2027. New administrative capital. Egypt. It's one of Africa's biggest economic heavyweights, and its capital city of Cairo is where the beating heart of the country lies, home to 9.5 million people. The city is a bustling metropolis, and while this makes it a cultural and economic hub, and also comes with its fair share of problems. After all the crazy amounts of congestion, have considerably reduced the quality of life of its people, and it's supposedly for this reason the government is building the new administrative capital, expected to house embassies, government agencies, the parliament, 30 ministries at grandiose presidential compound, a green space double the size of New York Central Park, and some 6.5 million people when completed. It's supposed to be an urban metropolis built to the highest standards. However, the money trail seems to point to the fact that the reasons for building the new administrative capital is far from altruistic. For 151% of the project is owned by the military, and this means that it will be able to reap massive profits by selling property and real estate once the initiative is completed. Since the actual government has little oversight over military spending, it's likely that corruption is running rampant, and this is made worse by the fact that many outside observers believe that Egypt can't actually afford to build this new city. It's slated to cost a whopping $59 billion. It is essentially just a megacity meant to service the rich, yet the country's fragile economy in recent years means that it will likely not be able to pay back billions in loans it took out to build it. As such, there are real concerns whether it will be possible to finish this project. Making this new city is far from a sure thing. Nusantara. While Indonesia's capital city of Jakarta is a crowded and lively place, it's also somewhere that may not exist in the next 100 years. After all, due to the over-extraction of groundwater, it's sinking at an alarming rate. In fact, in the northern part of the city, it's sunk by 2.5 meters in the past 10 years, and research shows that some areas could be entirely submerged by 2050. As such, the government of Indonesia has decided to build an entirely new capital city, known as Nusantara. Construction began in July of 2022, and the move is expected to cost a whopping $32.4 billion. It's said to be fit with towering skyscrapers, and it will hopefully surpass the already bustling capital of Jakarta. Although we won't know if this will be the case until its completion date of August in 2024. However, given all the resources going into it, I wouldn't be surprised if it's quite beautiful once it's complete. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.